Very good, man. You're a hero, not just a firefighter. Very good, man. Let's hoist the pike pole and ladder to our team above. Okay, as we hoist the pine pole and ladder above, let's go for classroom. Okay, today training about firefighter basics techniques. Are you ready?
Today, we're diving into a critical firefighting skill, one that often happens way above the ground floor. It's all about getting the right tool to the right place at exactly the right time. So, let's break down how it's all done. So, picture this. A team's up on a high floor, maybe even a rooftop, and they desperately need a tool from the truck down below. You can't just chuck it up there, right? It's heavy, it's dangerous, and you need a reliable, repeatable method. So how do you solve this vertical supply problem?
Well, the solution is, of course, a rope. But the technique, it's way more than just tying a simple knot. It's a precise system called hoisting, and it's an absolutely non-negotiable skill. And to really get how it works, we first need to get to know the tool we're going to be hoisting.
Right. So before we can get this thing up to the third floor, we've got to understand what we're actually working with. And this, the pike pole, is one of the most versatile and frankly essential items in the entire fire service. At its heart, the pike pole is all about reach and leverage. Think of it like an extension of a firefighter's own arms, letting them pull down ceilings, tear into walls, and poke around for hidden dangers, all while keeping a safe distance from a potential collapse. And if you look at what they're made of, there's a really key innovation here. See, older poles were wood or metal, but the modern ones? Almost always fiberglass. And that's not just about being tough and lightweight. Fiberglass doesn't conduct electricity. And that, my friends, is a massive safety feature when you're tearing into walls that could be hiding live wires. And you can see here just how much this thing gets used. It's not a one-trick pony. From the very beginning of the fight, punching through walls to find where the fire's hiding, all the way to the final overhaul phase, where crews are meticulously checking for any last smoldering embers. The pike pole is in their hands. So we have this absolutely essential tool, but it's completely useless on the ground when the fire is up on the roof. And this brings us to the core of our explainer. How do you create a vertical supply line to get these tools up into the fight? Hoisting isn't just tying a rope to something and pulling. No way! It's a formal, standardized system. The whole point is to create a supply line going straight up that's safe, efficient, and make sure that these heavy tools don't turn into deadly falling objects. And this is the crucial part. These techniques aren't just made up on the spot. They come from a standardized playbook, like the Firefighter Essentials Manual. And what that means is that a firefighter from one department can work seamlessly with a firefighter from another, because when the pressure is on, there is zero time to second-guess a knot. They all speak the same language. Okay, so let's get practical. How do you actually secure our pike pole so it can be safely pulled up the side of a building? It's a three-step process. The logic here is all about control. It kicks off with a clove hitch right at the bottom. That's a simple knot that just tightens on itself to create a really secure anchor for all the weight. Then a half hitch, which is basically just a simple loop, goes in the middle to keep the pole from swinging all over the place. And a final half hitch on the hook itself, that acts as a guide. Bottom, middle, top. Anchor, stabilize, and guide. Now the real beauty of this whole system is that the principles, anchor, secure, stabilize, they apply to other tools too. The specific knots might change depending on the tool's shape and weight, but the thinking is the same. Take the axe, for instance. It's really head-heavy, right? So the knots have to control that weight. You can see two approved methods here. One uses that same clove hitch we just saw. The other uses a figure 8 on a bite, which is just a super strong, secure loop that's easy to tie and it won't slip. The key thing is that each department picks one method and drills everyone on it for total consistency. Now, when you get to power tools, there's an extra layer of complexity. You do not want to go through all the effort of hoisting a heavy chainsaw up to a roof, only to find out it won't start. So the pro tip is this pre-flight check. Make sure it's got fuel and oil, and give it a quick start to warm it up before it ever leaves the ground. And to get it secure, the go-to knot is the bowline on a bite. This one's a classic rescue knot because it creates a fixed loop that absolutely will not tighten or slip under a heavy load, which makes it perfect for cradling the handle of a heavy, expensive tool like a chainsaw without damaging it. The same principles even apply to something as big and awkward as a ladder. The process starts with a big figure 8 on a bright, looped right through the rungs. But look at step 4, the tag line. This is just a second rope tied to the bottom. Its only job is to let a firefighter on the ground guide the ladder, keeping it from swinging wildly and smashing into windows or the side of the building on its way up.
So we've covered a bunch of different tools and knots. Let's try and summarize it all in a quick reference guide.
What this table really shows is that there's no single knot for everything. There's a right knot for every tool, a clove hitch for a long, balanced pole, a super strong loop knot like a figure 8 or a bowline for those heavy, awkward tools. Each one is chosen for a very specific purpose to maximize safety. And for firefighters, this isn't just book knowledge, it's pure muscle memory, practiced over and over until it's second nature.
When you step back and think about it, hoisting is so much more than just rope work. It's a perfect example of how a standardized, well-practiced system allows a team to do really complex things under incredible pressure. It kind of makes you wonder, what other jobs out there rely on that exact same level of drilled-in, universal procedure to save lives? Something to think about.
Okay, training completed. Keep connected to HCEG, keep safe.